Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
Oh, splendid. I traveled through the snow like many people listening, and it's not easy.
It's not snowing right now in New York City, so that's good, I guess.
It's finally slowing down.
So look, listen, it sucks. If you could stay home and listen to us and have a hot toddy, do it. We have actually great news out of the gate. Didn't see this one coming. But the most fan-friendly team in all of New York right now, without a doubt, the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks coming off a terrible loss last night, which is kind of part and parcel for being an average team that's trying to figure itself out. A lot of youth, blah, blah, blah. But it was like they were reading too much of their own press clippings before last night's game. And it was just a doozy, so throw it out in the garbage. But that's not what I'm talking about, Evan. The New York Knicks have made tickets available for the next 3 games. And those tickets, my friend, are affordable. Now, let me just walk you through this. The Brooklyn Nets came out and said that you have to buy tickets to every game the rest of the season, and the starting price was about $650 per ticket. The New York Knicks, Madison Square Garden, ticket prices, $50 up to $380. And for the next 3 games, which includes the 23rd against the Golden State Warriors, which includes the Sacramento King game on the 25th, and then a game on the 27th against the Indiana Pacers. Individual tickets are available. First come, first serve. I know they're going very fast. And season ticket holders were given a 24-hour exclusive period to also buy tickets at the same price points. Not only that, the New York Knicks are also telling everyone who buys a ticket they will set you up for COVID.
The PCP test, PCR test.
So they're making sure you have access to the COVID test.
Right.
They're giving you an affordable entry into the building, and they are not price gouging you the way the Brooklyn Nets are, because they're good for the first time in forever. Well, that's how a team treats its fans.
Listen.
Well done, James Dolan. Well done, New York Knicks.
Well done, James Dolan. I will agree with that, because I went online and I said, can I really buy tickets for the Knicks like at $60, $70, which is incredibly affordable? And you can. Like I went on the Knicks website because they tweeted out a link. Hey, tickets are available. I didn't buy it. I put it back so someone else can buy it. I found reasonable seats in a pod format for the Knicks-Pacers game at $85 a ticket. And for the NBA, $85 a ticket is very affordable.
Pod format means you're getting 2 seats in what they call a safe pod. So It's you and whoever you're with, and no one's going to be like right in the vicinity of you.
Right. So that's awesome. And I'm not going to sit here and rain on that parade.
They're going fast, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure they are, because there's only, think about it, if they're going to allow 2,000 fans in the building, and they gave the season ticket holders, rightfully so, first crack at buying tickets yesterday or whenever it was.
It was yesterday, yes.
There's a limited amount available, and they're obviously going to go quick. All I'm going to ask, because I don't know the answer, on the net end of things, is that the Knicks and Nets have taken a very different approach. The Knicks are doing it on a 3-game-by-3-game basis. So, for example, like you pointed out, the only games available right now are those 3 games you mentioned.
23rd, 25th, 27th. Warriors, which is the big one, of course, which is a Tuesday night. Thursday night against the Kings, which of the 3 is the least popular.
And then Saturday
against Saturday night against the Pacers.
Right. The Nets, at least when I spoke to them as a season ticket holder, was get every single game and you're going to pay a fortune. I think there's going to be some tickets available, because I don't think 2,000 people necessarily are going to pay between $650 a ticket and higher. I don't even know what the highest end is. So I think there's a chance in the next week or so the Nets would release tickets as well. I don't know what the prices will be. They'll probably be considerably higher. But clearly you're seeing, and this is why what the Yankees and Mets do is going to be fascinating, very different approaches to how to handle the amount of tickets you have available, where it goes, how many you're selling at one time, and certainly what the prices are. The prices for these Knicks games are affordable, especially compared not to just the Nets, but what you've normally had to pay to go to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, listen, there are tickets available. There's not a lot. Like right now, I'm on that site right now.
It'll be gone in the next hour.
Oh, I think it might be gone. Some of them might be gone already, but the point is they did the right thing. They set a couple hundred tickets aside for the general public. They put those tickets on sale. You could sit in the 300 section for $50. There were some courtside seats for $300 and change, which is still far less than what that ticket would normally cost at Madison Square Garden. And the Brooklyn Nets have 0 tickets available.
Can I just bring up a fact, and then you could tell me your reaction to it?
Here's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you learn about people and about, in this case, franchises, how they behave when they're finally relevant. Like, when you're irrelevant, you do whatever you can to put asses in the seats.
Of course.
When you have a rare moment of relevancy, how you treat the fan base is very telling to what kind of organization you are. Now, the New York Knicks, as you know, have never had any trouble selling out, even over the last 20 years, when, let's be honest, the franchise has been, at best, an embarrassment, right? As far as the product on the court. They could have charged anything. We know this because that's what's historically been true about the Knicks. They also don't need the money. They're the most valuable franchise, according to Forbes, again this year. They came out and wanted to do the right thing by their beleaguered fan base, not only in making tickets available, making those tickets at a reasonable price, and making sure you had access to a COVID test so you could enter the building legally.
The Nets are doing as well. I just want to make that clear. Yeah.
So the Nets came out, though, and the Nets went the other way. The Nets said, oh, you're a longtime season ticket holder? We're going to whack you over the head for $650 a ticket. Oh, and we're going to force you to buy ticket to every game.
Now, can I give you a fact and you can respond to it?
Of course.
The New York Knicks payroll this year is $79 million. The Brooklyn Nets payroll is $145 million.
Means nothing. It has no impact on why they're doing the ticket prices.
No. I'm just asking.
Yes.
One team is paying almost double the amount of money for its players.
If you want to go historically and what the Knicks have paid for players versus the Nets,
I'm not talking historically. I'm talking right now in the moment.
That's not why they're price gouging you. They're price gouging you because for the first time, maybe in the franchise's history, certainly in Brooklyn, you want to make the argument that the kid finals years is different. I'll go with you on that. They have a commodity. They have a ticket that is more valuable right now because they've got the big three. And I will be the first to acknowledge that.
No, but I don't even know if I agree with that because as good as the net ticket appears to be, the Knicks are still the Knicks. Like the Knicks still have a hot ticket.
The Knicks could have charged $650 and sold it no problem.
I think so.
But the Knicks decided we're going to try to do right by the fan base. The Nets decided we're going to price gouge the fan base.
The Nets decided we're going to charge as much as humanly possible.
That's
by the way, see if we can sell them all. Because, again, I'm very skeptical that the 2,000 tickets they have available will all be gone. Like, for example, I think there's a really good chance at some point next week the Brooklyn Nets are going to release tickets for the public.
They haven't yet. I just checked.
No, they haven't. No, I agree. They haven't yet, but I'm saying they, at least my conversations with them and finding out, hey, what are my options as a season ticket holder, was based on the minimum amount being $650 per ticket and committing to every game. My point is this, Craig. I don't think they'll be able to sell all 2,000.
Would you agree?
Would you agree with me?
I don't know. That's what I don't know the answer because I recognize, when you have Harden, KD, and Kyrie.
It's a lot, though, man.
I know. I don't know the answer. I'll be surprised if they don't. I would be.
Really?
Yes. I would be surprised if they don't. I don't think you're getting tickets on Ticketmaster for a Brooklyn Net game this year. Now, secondary market, of course you will, because guys are going to look to, A, defray the cost of the entire season. Like you might do that had you bought, obviously, the $36,000 worth of tickets, whatever it was. And some people are going to look at it as a money-making opportunity. But there is a difference in franchise philosophy right now. I think it's great that they're both making the test available, which is smart. You really have to do that. But they are doing it, so they both get the nod on that.
And every franchise should do that, by the way.
But so the Knicks are going 3 games at a time, it appears.
And the Nets are going,
that'll continue.
And the Nets are going, you got to buy the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
At least as of our discussion right now. Because, again, and we'll see if you're right or wrong, we'll know based on if the Nets do anything differently. If they sell all of those 2,000 tickets for at least the remaining games until they open it up to more people.
It was 20 games, right? Wasn't that what it was for you?
20 remaining games, yeah. If they sell all of them, then we won't hear another word.
Okay, so here's what's happened. Literally, in the last 35 minutes, the Knick-Warrior game is now sold out. Okay?
Right.
Sold out. They sold every single individual ticket to that game. Not surprising, by the way, By my count, they had about 100 or so available when we logged on.
Right.
When I got the email from the Knicks.
And the tweet came out from the Knicks within the last hour as well.
Okay,
It was
so
very recent.
let's say a half hour to an hour most. They've just sold out all the tickets for the game against the Warriors. For the Saturday game against the Indiana Pacers, they have 2 tickets left. Section 322, row 1, $85 each. That's going to go any second now, right? For the Thursday night game against the Sacramento Kings, they do have several tickets left in a variety of sections,
Right.
from 102 up to the 200s.
It'll be sold out within the hour.
I would think so,
Oh,
too.
absolutely. There's so few tickets available, and there's certainly enough Knick fans. Like, if you watched last night's game,
And
obviously
those tickets start at $50.
Gotcha. You watched last night's game. They had 3,000 people in Orlando for the Knicks Magic game, right? 3,000 people, so a little bit more than what we're going to have at the Garden in Brooklyn. And by the way, I always pay attention to the sound to see what does it even sound like. But MSG did a little pan through the arena. There were a good amount of Knicks fans there.
Yes, there were. There always are.
Of course. Yeah, but there's only 3,000 people allowed in.
Yeah.
And no one's really supposed to
Well,
travel.
the Magic suck. Like, who's going to watch the Magic? If you're a displaced New Yorker living down there, a
Right.
chance to see your beloved Knicks, probably inexpensively. And the Knicks have been playing well, going for 500 last night. And let's just sum up last night's game. Look, it sucked. It sucked from the tap to the last whistle. It sucked across the board. They were outplayed, out-hustled, out everything. RJ got benched again in the fourth quarter. I don't want to make too much of it. It's one game. They're not a great team. They are building. And unfortunately, there's still going to be games like what we saw last night when they're playing against a team that has struggled all year long. You figure, here's our shot. Get to 500.
And then Terrence Ross plays like an all-star.
Yeah, winnable game. They come out. I think they made 5 of their first 6 shots, and here
But
we go.
But you knew they were in trouble early because of the turnovers, and they were just playing
Yes.
sloppy. Like
Yeah.
you can overcome it for a period of time if you make your shots clearly, but you could tell it was not a crisp game at all, and they struggled. Everyone struggled.
Because
I mean,
the Knicks were up like 37-33, but they weren't playing well.
Well, they were up 12 early in the game, and they weren't playing well. So
Yeah.
you could tell it was going to be tough to last. And look, everyone stunk last night. Quickly and Rose were terrible. I don't understand. And look, I don't think it's a headline story. I don't think we need to belabor it. But I will say this. I don't understand why R.J. Barrett's been benched in fourth quarters in 3 of the last 4 games, 4 of the last 5 games. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And some of Thibodeau's rotations last night, Thibodeau's rotations last night didn't make a lot of sense. But here's the truth. They stunk. They weren't going to win the game either way.
If you got your hands on Knicks tickets, we'd love to talk to you. And I especially want to talk to you if you're a season ticket holder who got them versus someone that went online like in the last half hour and got Knicks tickets. 877-337-6666. The other big story today, of course, listen, this Knick thing happened, no joke, a half hour ago.
Yep.
The big story today, of
Nick
course.
tweet, by the way, just for the record,
Yeah.
to keep track at home, the Nick tweet that went out to the mass public about, hey, go buy tickets, was at 1:35. So it's within the last 40 minutes that all of these tickets that weren't bought initially by season ticket holders have been put out there. So it's all within the last hour.
And the email I got from the Knicks was at 1:48.
There you go.
So literally in the last half hour, this whole thing happened, and people jumped on, of course, the Warriors game to see Steph.
And by the way, I want to make something clear. Because I asked you about payroll and whatnot, I'm a season ticket holder of the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm jealous as hell. So I do think the New York Knicks are doing a great job. And sometimes the Knicks in the Garden don't get credit when they do things well. Let me be the first to tell you, they do deserve credit for this.
Rangers did the same thing. So
They absolutely
it's a Garden
deserve it.
policy. And
And
that starts, listen, you guys want to bust James Dolan's balls? James Dolan did right by you this time.
Well, I'll say this. I'm jealous. Now, I'm ecstatic about the product I have. I got a lot of aspirations. I get to watch my team tonight, and I'm not turning any of that back. But I got to tell you, as a longtime Brooklyn Nets season ticket holder, as this information came out and I've let it sink in, I'm jealous.
Well, you shouldn't be jealous. You should be pissed that you're being, treated the way you're being treated by that sorry franchise.
They're
here.
basically saying, look, and you kind of hit on it, we are now the hottest girl in the room, and we want to take full well advantage of it.
Yeah.
And by doing so, you alienate those customers that have been most loyal to you. So again, things may change in the next week because I am not confident they're going to sell all of those tickets. But let me just say this as an anti-Garden person, and by anti-Garden, I just mean I'm not a Ranger and Knick fan. I think what they're doing is tremendous, and I am jealous that they are doing it.
And memo to the Yankees and Mets, who have not yet, announce what their plans are, because they're not sure yet exactly from the state how many tickets they're going to be allowed to sell. We know it's at least 10%. They're both vying for more right now, which is why I think the plans haven't been announced. Memo to the Yankees and the Mets. Follow the Garden lead, not the Brooklyn lead on this one, because it does go a long way. The fans do react well to it or poorly to it, and it's the right thing to do, frankly. So look at Jim Dolan.
Yeah.
Stepping up. Here we are, 2021, and endearing himself to the Nick and Ranger fan base.
Can I ask you this question?
That's my guy right there.
Let me ask you a question.
My misunderstood, unappreciated guy. That's my guy.
Will he get...
Till Charles Oakley calls, and then who knows what's going to happen.
Will he get any love for this?
No.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
He will not.
He deserves it. The Garden deserves it.
Well, I'm giving it to him.
No, I know, and I am too, as someone who don't even like the Garden. Because I'm jealous looking at this.
I think the Knicks and Rangers did the right thing.
You could go see a Nick Pacer game, which I think is the same night as Nets Mavericks, by the way, also in Brooklyn. You can see a Nick Pacer game for $85.
Yep.
At minimum, unless things change, at minimum, it would cost you $600 to see Nets Mavericks.
$650.
$650. I know, exactly I cut off the 50.
And they even had some courtside. So like row 12 behind the basket was $320, which again, that's expensive, but that's a $1,000 ticket in the regular season. Normally.
Yeah.
Or thereabouts, whatever it is. So good job by the Knicks, good job by the Rangers, good job by the Garden. No fleecing going on there, as opposed to in Brooklyn, which just, should rankle you even more.
You get joy from this.
Because you have been a loyal soldier to what has been, more often than not, a lousy franchise.
Yeah.
And here they are, for the first time ever, with legitimate championship expectations, 4 months before the playoffs begin. And how do they treat their fan base? They price gouge them.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's insulting. It's obnoxious. And you should never forget that, because 3 years from now, when they suck again, they're going to come begging you to buy a ticket, and then we'll see what happens.
Well,
it's a joke.
I wish I had the willpower to say that now. 4 years from now, when all these stars are gone, I'm going to say no. I'm probably going to say yes again.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets make you buy like a 3-year package of season tickets next year.
Well, they
just to lock in.
They have made you, and you made fun of this, but it's true. A few years ago, they offered you a chance to be locked in on a contract, but the benefit was locking in the price.
And that's before you knew, obviously, what was going to happen.
It was May of 2019, so it was literally a few months before they signed Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Well, they were so desperate to have season ticket holders at that point. They wanted to lock you in for as many years as they could because they didn't sell well. They never did.
The Cavs did that, too, by the way. If you remember the year after LeBron left the first time, the place was still packed because they made their season ticket holders sign contracts.
The Chicago Bulls did that at the end of Jordan's career when they weren't sure. Remember, he did a couple of one-year deals?
Yes.
They made season ticket holders sign, I think, 3-year deals.
Unbelievable. And remember how bad the Bulls were when Michael Jordan left the Randy Brown Chicago Bulls.
Now,
hate to pick on him.
If you went to Ticketmaster or called the Knicks, whatever, based on hearing our show, I'd love to get your experience literally in the last 15, 20 minutes and whether or not you successfully got tickets to one of these 3 Knicks games. And there's only 3 available right now, the 23rd, the 25th, and as we said, the 27th. Look, real quick, the other big story, and it does impact the Jets in a way unlike what most people are saying, so we want to be real upfront about that. Carson Wentz got traded today from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Colts, not for a whole heck of a lot, and the Eagles take a $30+ million dead cap hit, which is the largest in NFL history. So, of course, the immediate question then becomes, all right, how does that impact the New York Jets? It doesn't. It doesn't. For everyone out there on Twitter and on all these dopey football insider accounts, the Eagle trade with the Colts has zero impact on the New York Jets and what they decide to do with Sam Darnold. Zero. We'll explain why right after this. 877-337-6666. It's snowing outside for you. It's warm inside for us. Stay warm and cuddly with Carton and Roberts all the way through 7 o'clock. We got lots of good stuff coming up. We got some games we're going to play. We're going to make sure you get through the last snow day of the season. That's our job. That's our job. Yes, we talk to Mother Nature. This is the last snow event of the season. and we're going to make sure you have a good time throughout it, all the way to 7 o'clock.